Coach Ty has worked in law enforcement and taught in several police academies for several years, trained with and for the FBI. Please welcome AKA Coach.
I'm sure you never expected somebody in law enforcement to come up like that, right? Well, I do have a life. And before the FBI, and actually what I did for the FBI, is hostage negotiations training. I've also been trained by them in internet safety. So what am I talking about? Growing up as a young person, having my property stolen, paying protection money, bullying, also gambling, which is the largest growing addiction amongst college students, right? And then also abuse. There's another thing that also happens to students that are in college, and we call it violence. Recently, we had a student from University of Connecticut, a student athlete. Who knows what happened to him? What happened? Got stabbed multiple times and died, right? Do you know that men on college campuses are twice as likely to be victimized by violence than women, with the exception of sexual assault? And 90% of all the criminal events that happen to a college student happen off campus. And so many of our colleges pride themselves on reinforcing security standards and those kinds of things, but they don't address the critical area, and that is giving students information to keep themselves safe when they're away from college, when they're in the community. Let me give you an example. We recently had a student at Virginia Tech, went to a party at the University of Virginia. And something happened after that party. Anybody know what happened? She came up missing. And this very day, Virginia Tech has implemented a search party for the whole weekend, starting November 6th today. Folks, why do I care? Why do I want to get this information out to you? Well, I want to get this information out to you because I have a family member that came up missing. And it's my mission, as I've trained in college campuses across the country, I put a safety plan together for the social workers in New York City. It's my mission to bring information to help you be safe, because you need that information. How many of you have had something happen to you in your life? Okay. Stand up, everybody, stand up. And I'm saying those that said they had something of criminal nature happen to you, stand up. For those that are sitting down, I want you to take a look around the room and realize that what I'm talking about is not an isolated incident. Thank you, you can have a seat. Now that we've talked about theft, we've talked about gambling, we've talked about abuse, I also need to tell you this. 1 out of 6 males are abused by people that are taken advantage of. Yes. 3 out of 5 women. And guess what? 20% of them are victimized between the ages of 18 and 24. So this is a vital thing I need to share with you, and hope you bring me out to your campus. I want to share with you one story that was most amazing, because today, when we talk about bullying, there's something that we have to think about also that's used as a tool to bully people. What is that? The internet. The internet. So as I was doing the training in New York City, a caseworker told me a peculiar story. She said that every night after 12 midnight, these strange men would show up at her door and knock on the door. She'd look out from the top window and recognize or know that she didn't know these people, so she'd call the police, and before the police would get there, they'd be gone. However, there was this one night where this one individual was persistent. He refused to leave and yelled out and called her by name. She looked out the window, she didn't know him, and again she called the police, and this time the police would get there in time to catch him. They handcuffed him, walked him to the police vehicle, and he's screaming out loud, "I did nothing wrong. This is between 2 consenting adults." She said that she'd be ready to do something, a threesome with me and my dog, in the car. Well, upon further investigation, the police found out that one of her disgruntled clients got access to her information and put a MySpace account up with all the twisted things that she would be willing to do, and these gentlemen began to show up. Well, some of you say, well, that's a lucky dog, huh? Well, let me share something with you. Let me give you a tip of many of the things that I would share with you if I came to your college campuses on how to be safe. How many of you have discount cards on your keychain? How many? Okay, show of hands. Okay, stand up yet again. Let's see. You have these things on your keychain. Okay, pretty good number. Okay, you can sit down. If I wanted to take advantage of you, because working in law enforcement, many times we have to think like what? Criminals. If I wanted to take advantage of you, one of the simple things that I teach in safety training to college students across America, to resident assistants, is I teach them that you have to be very careful with these. Because let's say you're in the checkout line and you lay your keys down, you're not paying attention, you're going in your wallet, you're getting all these things, and that person behind you has been watching you. All they have to do, if they don't get access to this, is to get the numbers that are associated with that barcode. And what might they do? Which is similar to the stalking episode that I told you about with the social worker. They would go to that store, pay attention to the youngest clerk, a teenager, and then wait till that clerk was about ready to get off from work and approach them when they're tired and ready to go home and not paying attention to detail. And you know what that person would do? Excuse me, ma'am, we just moved into the neighborhood, and I just want to make sure that we've given you the current information, because my wife and I want to make sure that we get all those discount coupons, because we really enjoy shopping here. This is our number. Can you run that through and just see if we can verify our address with you? And once that's done, that person has all they need to take advantage of you. There's something called the victim selection process, folks. The victim selection process. What does that mean? Anytime someone seeks to victimize you, there's a specific protocol or steps that they take. And if you qualify, if you make a good victim, guess what they do? They choose who? You. So folks, I am here to keep that from happening. That's my goal. I'd like to come to your campus. I have a booth, number 14. I'll be doing the training tomorrow on a different topic. And to show you just how much I'm passionate about this, anybody that shows up to that educational session I'm going to do tomorrow afternoon, not only will I give you a free handout of tips to keep yourself safe on your campus and off campus, tips if you are a resident assistant that you can implement in your dorms, tips if you are in a fraternity or sorority, or a service-based organization where you're doing community service out in the community. I'll give you tips to train your people. Because a lot of us on college campuses, we like to do community service. Is that right? Yep. But when you're doing those things, you need to know how to govern yourself so you're not victims, and that's where I come in.